Shower the people you love with your love. Show them the way that you feel. Good morning. My name is Pastor Bob, and I get to be one of the pastors here at Mount Tabor United Methodist Church. Thanks once more for the blessing of worshiping our Lord alongside you this morning. What a grand gift you give to me each week. Mr. Henry Adams was a farmer born in Merrimack, Massachusetts in 1895, who lived to the ripe old age of, well, we're not really sure. My brother Jimmy, the Ancestry.com guy in our family, thinks Farmer Adams passed away around 1976 or so. I only met Farmer Adams once or twice, but he could put the can in cantankerous. Farmer Adams liked his wife and his cows. His children he tolerated, and the rest of us he could take or leave, preferably the latter. My grandfather had always loved a particular piece of land in Merrimack. Always had dreams of having Carl Olson build him a house on the property once he bought it. The problem was the land for which Grandpa pined was owned by Farmer Adams, and Farmer Adams wasn't selling, all of Grandpa's cajoling notwithstanding. We think Grandpa heard a decade's worth of no's from Farmer Adams before one day, when they were talking, the icy Adams thawed just enough to inquire as to why Grandpa wanted to acquire so much geography. Grandpa looked at Farmer Adams and said, "Because I don't like people. And I'm going to have Carl Olson build me a house right in the middle of the land so no one can get near me." Legend has it that Farmer Adams looked at Grandpa and replied, "Sounds like a fine idea to me. The land is yours." Farmer Adams was not the only one who could put the can in cantankerous. Carl Olson built Grandpa's home in the middle of Farmer Adams' land, and Grandpa was in his delight. The two curmudgeons would wave at one another when Farmer Adams was moving his cows every afternoon, but that was about the extent of their exchanges. And then Grandpa suffered a stroke and was in the hospital for several days before coming back to his home in the middle of Farmer Adams' land. And the first visitor to adorn his door was Farmer Adams. We were all somewhat astonished when Farmer Adams happened by because, after all, he liked his wife and his cows, he tolerated his children, and could take or leave the rest of us, preferably the latter. The stroke had taken Grandpa's ability to talk, so the two old men sat together in silence before Farmer Adams had to take his leave, probably to go move the cows. My Nana, when she retold the tale, said that the two old men got along with one another in their mutual understanding that they really did not care to get along with anyone else, but she said they got along quite nicely nonetheless. They got along. Life is relational. No man is an island, is what John Donne, the poet, wrote. From the Dickens Christmas Carol character Jacob Marley come these words: "Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business." We are social beings and need other people. While we have the capacity to really foul them up, we need our relationships. Of the many perverse appendages of this pandemic has been the proliferation of separation, distancing not limited to just social. We become estranged one from the other. We long for any expression of community we can safely assume. Jesus' two great commandments, love God and love neighbor, remind us of how our bond with God is our ultimate need. And from that kinship, we are empowered to be in loving relationship with those around us. The passage on which we are focusing today challenges us to refrain from judging, commands us to ask and seek and knock, and closes with the golden rule, a reminder of how we are to treat others. Speaking of that passage, we move on in the Gospel of Matthew to chapter 7, verses 1 through 12. Hear these words from the New Living Translation.